Actor Bruce Campbell once said,
"I'm sick of overtrained heroes. I'm really bored with that. Guys that are just ripped to shreds and, full of skills. That's boring to me. Give me the mechanic that picks up a weapon, Now I'm interested. That's my hero. That could be me."
And Ash Williams of the Evil Dead franchise is that kind of hero, which is part of the lasting appeal of the best character Bruce Campbell ever played. It's that audiences can see themselves in him. Ash was just a normal guy put in absolutely extraordinary situations, to the point that he has to become an action hero just to survive. He isn't just a badass for the sake of being a badass. He's a badass because the story needs him to be to keep going. He is all of us if we were pressed into fighting an army of Deadites, giving us the hope that maybe, if given the chance, we could possibly take up the mantle, the chainsaw, the boomstick, and absolutely mow down wave after wave of the undead masses. Badass. Mr. Bruce is a man that should have been an A-list superstar, and he is in the eyes of his fan base, which is all that really matters in the end. Making movies and watching movies, well, it's supposed to be fun, and you can always feel that when Bruce is on the screen, because he legitimately seems to be enjoying the cards that life has dealt him, and he's playing them with a passion, in front of and behind the camera. Bruce Campbell would also say,
"All men think they're fascinating. In my case, it's justified."
His satirical cockiness, well, it's endearing. And it's absolutely not an ego thing. He gets the joke, and he absolutely loves it. And it's not really a joke, really. He just gets the vibe. He understands why people love him, and he just keeps giving it to us, in a nice way. So what makes Bruce Campbell so fascinating? And is he still making fun, interesting films? Is he still the man? Is he still a badass? Or is he even cooler now? So yeah, what the fuck happened to Bruce Campbell? But to truly understand what the fuck happened to Bruce Campbell, we must begin at the beginning, and the beginning began when he was born on his birthday, 1958, Michigan, USA. His journey into acting was sparked by watching his father act in community theater, and because of this love of the arts, he formed a fruitful, long-life friendship in high school when he met future master filmmaker Sam Raimi. These BFFs got together and decided they wanted to make some movies, and decided that Bruce Campbell would be the actor because he's more handsome. So little Sammy and little Brucey, they would collaborate on a short film called Within the Woods in 1979. And this short film right here was part of their pitch to fund a feature film. And I'm sure Bruce's trademark charm went a long way towards getting them funds they needed in order to make the 1981 classic horror film that changed cinema, The Evil Dead. The Evil Dead stands as an absolute triumph in tight-budget filmmaking, owed in large part to its innovative storytelling and practical effects. And acting. Yep, Bruce Campbell's iconic performance contributes equally to its enduring legacy. His portrayal as lead character Ash Williams showcased remarkable range, vulnerability, unwavering commitment, and physicality, all in defiance of his relative inexperience in, everything. Bruce Campbell wore many creative hats during production, and wasn't above getting his hands dirty to make the film work. After having seen this movie, The Evil Dead, would you believe that Bruce Campbell hates fake blood? I'd say he picked the wrong line of work if he wasn't so gosh darn good at it. Evil Dead legitimized Bruce Campbell as a leading man right away, and he would go on to get top billing in 1984's coming-of-age film, Going Back. The film was shot and partly set in Michigan, allowing Bruce to show his pride in his Michigan roots, as well as show off his natural and believable approach to acting. Wow, look at that acting. Then, Bruce reunited with his friend Sam Raimi for 1985's Crime Wave, which should have been a good movie. Raimi reportedly expanded the role of the heel in this Coen Brothers written film, just for his buddy Bruce. But yeah, Crime Wave, it doesn't necessarily live up to the brilliance of the creative forces behind it. A Sam Raimi film written by the Coen Brothers featuring Bruce Campbell. But Bruce does offer a memorable and quirky performance. Campbell and Raimi bounced back strong in 1987 with perhaps their most beloved collaboration, Evil Dead 2. This sequel/partial retelling allows itself to play around a little bit more than the original and bring on some full-on frickin' hilarious dark humor and still be absolutely terrifying, and all the better for it. Bruce's performance takes the audience on a roller coaster of terror and absurdity, while the character grows from victim into victorious hero. This amazing actor right here expertly balances the humor and the horrific and the heart. And a hell of a commitment. Like, he full-on immerses himself in the physical demands of this role. The dude becomes a cartoon, but he's still made of flesh and blood and bone and a soul. His delivery of his trademark groovy and his iconic demented laugh are forever etched in the minds of audiences. Forever. Because they keep making these movies, and you know what? It's fine. After Evil Dead 2, Bruce Campbell battles not only a relentless killer, but also the very system that betrayed him as Officer Jack Forrest in 1988's Maniac Cop. And he was so good in Maniac Cop that he would reprise his role in Maniac Cop 2. These movies are pretty typical of B-movie slashers of the time, but they are absolutely worth seeing, specifically for Campbell's portrayal of fragility and resilience. He doesn't need to be this good, but he is. Bruce Campbell was also featured in 1989's Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat, as a descendant of the legendary Van Helsing. Some people claim that the show True Blood borrowed some elements of this story. And Bruce admits that Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat, is a role that he took because he was desperate for money. But it has turned into one of his bigger cult hits. This guy has a lot of cults. He played astronaut Ray Tanner in 1989's Moontrap, who got, trapped on the moon, if you can believe it. Bruce brings his characteristic charm to this sci-fi horror before undergoing a genuinely scary, if all too brief, transformation. Next, not for the last time, Bruce would reunite with his buddy Sam Raimi for a superhero flick in 1990's Darkman. And you have to sit through the whole thing before you see Bruce, because he kind of makes a comedic cameo at the very end, making us all go, "Is that Bruce Campbell? Cool, okay, yeah, cool." In 1992's Mind Warp, Bruce Campbell plays Stover, a drifter suffering under a post-apocalyptic society ruled by AI. Maybe this is a preview of what is to come. And Mind Warp is a less refined exploration of the same themes that The Matrix would explore 7 years later. Bruce is always making these movies ahead of their time. But instead of fighting simulations, Bruce is fighting mutant cannibals. Then Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi bookended the original Evil Dead trilogy with 1992's Army of Darkness. While the first two movies set a high bar, Army of Darkness took the series in a very unique and unexpected direction, taking us back in time to the medieval age. And it's frickin' perfect. Army of Darkness kinda has everything you need in a movie. It's funny, it's scary, it's action-packed, it's got some drama, it's got some Bruce.
Groovy.
And yeah, if Evil Dead 1 is, a campy horror, and Evil Dead 2 was a wacky, dark comedy, Army of Darkness cranks up the scope and scale of the conflict with some impressive set pieces, and some wild, out-of-control camera movements that only Bruce's energy and passion can match. And yeah, it's still an Evil Dead movie. It doesn't lack for gore. It's got everything you need and more. Ash Williams completes his journey into full-on Deadite conqueror, naturally becoming a superhero of his own, perhaps best represented by his triumphant decree.
This is my boomstick!
Fittingly, this boomstick hails from southern Michigan, just like Bruce himself. Bruce Campbell also made a mark on television in the mid-90s. First was The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. in 1993, wherein he played a lawyer-turned-bounty hunter named Briscoe County. Jr. is a person, not a place. This western had some amazing sci-fi elements thrown in and earned a passionate fan base. But unfortunately, the studio and the producers and everybody, they didn't exactly know what to do with this because it was so unique. But it was too cool to earn a second season. Bruce Campbell played a Superman antagonist on Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman in the mid-90s, Bill Church Jr. Think like a more charming but less resourceful Lex Luthor and more hair. Bruce also appears in The Hudsucker Proxy, written and directed by the Coen brothers in 1994. Critics would say this movie is more style over substance, but boy howdy does Campbell sure play his part perfectly as an offbeat member of this loaded, amazing ensemble cast. He would also have a character that would pop up in those Xena Princess Warrior Hercules TV shows. He was the King of Thieves. Campbell brought believability to the confident flair of the skilled master thief, and Bruce's charisma would steal every scene faster than he swiped treasures. Ha 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 ha. Campbell also had a reoccurring guest role on the sitcom Ellen, portraying a guy named Ed, who became Ellen's boss. Well, Bruce and Ellen, their interaction showed a delightful contrast, making their scenes memorable for viewers. Ellen and Bruce make comedy. He would pop up in 1996's Escape from LA, portraying the character Surgeon General of Beverly Hills, under layers of makeup. He becomes a frickin' dimple-chinned monster. And yeah, Escape from LA ain't exactly Escape from New York, and Bruce is the best thing about it. He remains a standout moment in this mess of a movie. In 1997, Campbell was featured in a TV movie called Minnow's Mind. Another thing that was kind of The Matrix before The Matrix was The Matrix, because there's no such thing as original ideas. Except for this next movie, From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money, which Bruce appears in briefly in this unfortunate 1999 direct-to-video sequel. And yeah, tossing Bruce in this thing kinda seemed like a desperate attempt to make this film, legitimate. But it didn't work. Did not work at all. Then came the year 2000, with the movie Icebreaker, that features a bald Bruce Campbell as a terrorist leader who goes up against action hero Sean Astin. Oh, Sean. Then Bruce got his own TV show again, playing the lead in Jack of All Trades for 2 seasons. This Napoleon-era period action comedy really allows Bruce to, do his thing. And this character of Jack, he's kind of like a Forrest Gump kind of guy, where he always finds his way into a historical event around famous figures. And his alter ego, the Daring Dragoon, is a blend of some Zorro flair, some Batman mystery, and a dash of some James Bond wit. But it's all Brucey boy. In the early days of Jim Carrey trying to be a dramatic actor, there was a movie called The Majestic, directed by Frank Darabont, and it's a good try. But the best part of this movie, The Majestic, is actually the movie within the movie, and a pivotal moment comes for Jim Carrey when he watches Bruce Campbell in a movie within this movie, allowing Bruce to show off that he perfectly embodies the look and delivery of a golden era action star. The dude was born in the wrong time period. Let's send him back in time, but not to medieval times, because movies were not invented then. Bruce Campbell released his autobiography, which has the best title of all time, If Chins Could Kill, Confessions of a B-Movie Actor. This became a New York Times bestseller, and is essential reading for all of his fans, and anyone interested in the movie-making process and anyone who, knows how to read. Yep, Bruce wrote a book, and he would follow it up in 2017 with another amazing title, Hail to the Chin, Further Confessions of a B-Movie Actor, which became another bestseller that picks up where the first book left off, and covers the cool stuff he's been up to since. Cool stuff like reuniting with his friend Sam Raimi for his Spider-Man movie series. In the 2002 original, Bruce plays the ring announcer for Peter Parker's wrestling bout, and Bruce's character is responsible for coining the name Spider-Man.
The Amazing Spider-Man!
In 2004's Spider-Man 2, he portrays a snooty usher who, after helping Peter Parker fix his appearance, still won't let him in to see Mary Jane's performance. For Spider-Man 3 in 2007, Bruce returned to the service industry as the maitre d' of the restaurant, where Peter Parker attempts to propose to Mary Jane. And rumor has it that this is all the same character, and all these cameos were set to be paid off in a big way in the cancelled unmade Spider-Man 4, which had Bruce Campbell returning as the villain Mysterio. And the urban legend out there says that it would be revealed that he had been disguising himself as the other characters this whole time as part of his surveillance of Spider-Man. That's kind of ridiculous, and Bruce denies all these rumors. He denies all allegations! Bruce Campbell returned to his absurdist B-movie comfort zone, and by B-movie I mean beloved cult hit that starts with a B, Bubba Hotep. In it, Bruce plays a man who may or may not probably is Elvis, who faked his own death and is now, an old man, teams up with a man who may or may not be JFK to fight a murderous cowboy mummy. For all of its oddity, Bubba Hotep is a poignant and endearing film about growing old in a society where the old are mistreated. And it has some mighty powerful themes about facing death. It's one of those movies that you're like, I can't believe they actually made this, and I can't believe it's actually good. Bruce is absolutely amazing as elderly Elvis. So amazing that many people say this may be his second finest performance, or second best character, after Ash Williams, of course. And there's actually a comic book where Ash Williams teams up with elderly Elvis, so that's freaking awesome. Then Bruce Campbell would put on his director hat, while still wearing his actor hat, as he would direct and star in 2005's Man with the Screaming Brain. The concept is interesting, but the movie doesn't really do much with it. He would then steal the show and stand out as Coach Boomer in the 2005 family-friendly Disney superhero movie Sky High, and probably the best scene in the movie. Okay, I know I just said that elderly Elvis is his second most memorable, beloved character after Ash Williams, but actually it may be Sam Axe from the show Burn Notice, whom he played starting in 2007. The character is a skillful, loyal, and grounded companion to the main character, who provides some comic relief. Campbell's portrayal was so beloved by fans as to inspire a spin-off prequel movie called Burn Notice: The Fall of Sam Axe in 2011. He would then do the director acting thing again, and Bruce Campbell would direct and act in a movie about Bruce Campbell, titled My Name is Bruce, in 2007. Obviously, this movie is a bit self-indulgent, but it's a hell of an improvement over The Man with the Screaming Brain, and there's a lot of meta humor to appreciate, especially for the target audience of Bruce Campbell's fanbase. So yeah, if you love Bruce, you're probably gonna like this movie. And if you don't love Bruce, I'm surprised you made it this far in this video essay. Then, for some reason, Sam Raimi directed Oz the Great and Powerful. So of course he brought his friend Bruce in for a cameo. Bruce would then go on to produce the 2013 kinda reboot thing, Evil Dead, thus adding, legitimacy to this reboot. And he appears in a brief teaser in the post-credits. It was initially thought to tease his involvement in another Evil Dead feature film, but his next Evil Dead venture would actually be Ash vs. Evil Dead, a super duper cool television series that ran from 2015 to 2018.
Let's go.
In the show, Bruce, as Ash, after spending 30 years in relative obscurity, haplessly unleashes yet another Deadite threat upon the whole frickin' world. The show and his performance are absolutely loved by critics and audiences alike for respectfully handling and having fun with all the elements that make the Evil Dead so gosh darn special. It was unfortunately released on a premium channel in a tough time for the television environment, and was canceled after only 3 seasons. He does a pretty good reoccurring voice role, or so I'm told, on Disney's Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, as King Edmund. And he's Chef in The Last Kids on Earth, which started in 2020. Bruce would then serve as the executive producer and the host for the Travel Channel's Ripley's Believe It or Not reboot in 2019. Reviews were mixed, believe it or not, but I think he does a fine job, believe it or not. Then Bruce Campbell would win the presidency and voice Richard Nixon in the audio tapes featured throughout 2021's 18 and a Half. This was actually the second time that Bruce has portrayed a former president, having been perfectly cast as Ronald Reagan in the television show Fargo. Bruce Campbell's latest cameo in a Sam Raimi Marvel movie would come in the form as Pizza Papa in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and is actually responsible for the funniest moments in this largely depressing Marvel film. But what's even more largely depressing is that Sam Raimi had a chance to make a frickin' Doctor Strange movie, and all he does is give Bruce a cameo? Like, Bruce should have played the multiverse. Bruce should have played everyone. Then he did another cameo in 2023's Evil Dead Rise. This cameo is a voiceover cameo as a recorded priest that warns against the dangers of the Necronomicon. And there's another fun frickin' fan theory out there that this priest is actually Ash Williams on another time-traveling adventure. And it very well could be, because I believe that Bruce Campbell is an ordained minister in real life. In late 2023, Bruce Campbell hosted Discontinued. It's a fun little show that takes a nostalgic look at trends and products and places and stuff and things that have become obsolete, unlike Bruce himself. This dude, Bruce Campbell, he is not just a B-list actor. He's a B-list legend. He's also a producer, a director, a best-selling author, and yeah, like I said before, an ordained minister. He's probably a bunch of other things too, but he doesn't really tell us much about his private life because that's what celebrities should probably do. Despite his bravado, he's universally described by those who know him as humble, kind, loyal, and dedicated. These days, when he's not acting, you can find him on the Comic-Con circuit hosting his own digital film festival, Bruce Fest. And he said that he'd be happy to return to the role of Ash Williams, which I'm sure fans would love to see. The story of Bruce is a simple one. One day, he and his friends made a cool movie that allowed them to go on to make a bunch of other cool movies for the rest of their lives. Bruce never really rose to the top of the industry, and unlike other actors, he never really had any major ups or major downs, especially when it came to respect for his skills. He just consistently maintained a level of coolness. So yeah, maybe he never reached that A-list superstardom, but if he did, that would have probably ruined him. But you know what he did do? He made millions of people happy with his talents. And isn't that what it's all about? So nobody should give a f*** about what the f*** happened to Bruce Campbell, because he's doing just fine.
It's over!